Well, here's the last big Facebook Live of the day, guys, and hope that you're here. And we're going to talk about a couple things, and we're going to look at some real things, real life. How's that? So, when we're looking at the world of how things are, this is a group. This is us. So, can you identify yourself in any of these pictures? Have you felt like you could feel better, that you want to feel better? Yeah, we all do. We all did. And that's exactly how we've gotten the way we are. We were really happy to move forward. And we've all found the protocol that we'll talk about real quickly. We've got great results. So you can choose to be how you are, and we understand that. But we chose to seek being healthy. We're all probably frustrated and and well, we are. I mean, we all of us had given up hope. Some look at Cody there, lost over 100 pounds. Someone said uh, diabetes or insulin resistance so high on so many things from skin tags and everything else like that. So when I talk, guys, I'm giving you from personal experience because that's me. So that was me as Mr. Belly So Big. And some of my friends and things knew me at that size and have seen me go up and down this yo-yo world, and I call it diet whack-a-mole. But yeah, and just remember when you see somebody like that, and if you're like that, guys, there is this person trying to get out of this person. Hey John, how are you? So
Hey,
this we're trying to get out of there. That's the trap. That's the trap. And the big thing is we're going to talk some about that. This is I always like to show this for everybody this summer, and it's Lyme disease. So if you spot anybody have that bullseye, that is the perfect bullseye that is known as Lyme disease. If you see that, it's rare to find it. It's rare to see it, but that was literally on my back. And a partner that was with me at the time, we didn't have her checked, and she completely lost mental faculties, lost physical abilities.
um,
She was brilliant, John. I mean, you like math and things. She did, an Excel spreadsheet. She was involved in government pricing and with Excel workbooks. There'd be 4 to 5 to 10 workbooks on a government project in pricing, and she could find the missing dime.
wow.
When when she developed Lyme, we didn't even think about having her checked. We found this. I went to the doc, got treated right away. To the best of my knowledge, I didn't have Lyme like at all issues that I know of. Otherwise,
Was that the one that you took to St. Louis?
no. Uh-uh.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, and so redhead, and
Yeah.
but she would go to the garage and couldn't remember why she went to the garage. If she got in the car, she couldn't remember where she was going. If she got out in the
Ooh.
driveway, she didn't know where she was going. If she got to the stop sign, she did. She had to stop and think how was she going to get home, which was only 2 houses away. Yeah, so this is a serious thing. I've lived it, I know it, and so I just want to always talk to people about it, just so you know, John. And you generally never even see the tick because they're the size of a pin. So
Yep.
that's what Lyme looks like. If you ever see anybody that has a bullseye, you get them to the doc in the next 24 hours because that's Lyme, and that's the class. When I went in and I told the doc, I said, "Hey, I got Lyme." He says, "How you know?" Because I got a bullseye on my back. He says, "No, you don't." I go, "Yeah, I do." He says, "No, you don't." I go, "Yeah, I do." I'll let you look at shirt, and I go, "Oh, you do. You got a Lyme." It says, then the next thing, I go, "Can we take pictures?" Because because our students don't normally see that. So that's how that went. So I just like to show that because I want people to see that, and I'm glad that you are on to see that. So
Yeah.
this is me. This is me, and this is what we're going to talk about. And it's a lifestyle issue that we get, and it's a problem that we have sometimes. And so I've lived the yo-yo diet, and I call it diet whack-a-mole because I'm 73 and I have been through more backwards and forwards than you can probably ever can think about. And so one of the things that we're talking about, this suit jacket, the skinnier one, that was a coat, part of a suit that my mom bought me in 1970. Guys, I was born in 1951, so I'm 73. I've lived through 2 lifetimes of food, and I've lived through more wardrobes than Goodwill could have ever had. I've been up, down, sideways, every other which way. And so, yeah, I've been up well over 200. I've been down to 143. So I've spanned 100 plus pounds in my lifetime. And so I've lived what I talk about. So this is me in a shirt from last year. And then this is my shirt now. I could jump off a building and be Rocky the Flying Squirrel in that same shirt. So so now that's me. And this is a month apart. I had a 30-inch waist, and a month later I had a 28-inch. And I'm at 28 now. So staying at the 28-inch waist, but that's just how it goes. So this is part of my story, and we'll get there in a minute. So one of the things we want to look at, and I just love this cup. You know, this says it all. But I'm going to do a couple questions, this little survey type of thing. I'm going to talk about some struggles, my struggles, John's struggles, struggles that we see and hear all the time. We're going to talk about some history and food and history of that. We're going to talk about some groups. We're going to show you different kinds of things. So the first question would be, would you agree that there's a metabolic problem in America? Yeah. And the answer is yeah. And we'll show that proof in a minute. And guys, everything I talk about, if you're new to here, if you've heard me before, you understand when I tell you how it is, I tell you the facts, I can back it up with evidence. If you want to prove me wrong, I encourage you to go out and find it. But I'm going to tell you the way it is. And in the next 5 to 10 years, do you think that the metabolic problems we have are going to get worse? Yeah, absolutely. And the other question is that I ask you this question is that, do you think Americans spend $6 to $10 a day on breakfast, like sandwiches and meals and bagels and chicken sandwiches and muffins and rolls, and donuts and coffee and things? And then during the day, they also send sodas, smoothies, and chips and candy bars and power drinks and Nutri-Bars and all kinds of snacks. And that's not even counting the weekend, which is Snackorama. You know, on the weekends, it's just Snackorama. Can I prove that? Yeah. Go to any Little League baseball diamond, any soccer fields, any swim meet, any tennis match. You will, any picnic in park, you will see bags of food, and there's nothing nutritious. It's all crackers and chips and curls and bars and drinks with orange color, sort of, and purple and teal and whatever, lime green or whatever. And there's not such a thing as a healthy snack. So would you agree that people spend $6 to $10 a day on that kind of stuff? Yeah, it's pretty easy to agree with that. But really what people say, well, I don't think so. I go like, because you don't have the pain of paying cash. If you paid cash, you would know. But most people pay with plastic. So it's kind of oblivious. They don't really think about it. They run into the convenience store, whatever, and get gas, and they grab a bar or a bag or a slice of pizza or whatever that's right there, and a power drink, and another coffee or a Slurpee or a slushy thing, and they walk out with a 5-gallon bucket. That the great thing about these 5-gallon buckets that people drink out is that the people that made them engineered them so it would fit in the cup holder. I mean, that's the genius of these people. It may be bigger than your last born child, but by God, it fits in the cup holder. So okay, it's good. And so it's $6 to $10. And there's a reason we asked that. So yeah, you're right. So yeah, 93% of Americans are metabolically challenged. And guys, that's getting down into the nitty gritty, including kids. 50 to 60% of the kids under 18 are already diabetic type 2 or pre-diabetic. And that's all because of lifestyle. That's all related because of lifestyle diseases, guys. There's no other way around it. It's lifestyle. And if you start looking at these things, there's a medication for everything. And we're the most medicated nation in the world, right? We're the most medicated nation in the world. We have more food available than anywhere in the world. And we yet are dying of lifestyle diseases. Think about that for half a second. And the other thing is, I just throw it as a consideration, just a thought, because I'm a George Carlin mentality kind of guy. Did you know that most medications that you're taking are petroleum based? Think about that for half a second. I mean, would you let the dipstick in your oil? I'm just asking for a friend, right? But yeah, so we're talking about ingesting highly processed, hyperpalatable foods that have been blended, bioengineered, GMO'd, hybridized grains, starches, no fiber, on purpose, with seed oils that are processed with hexane and high temperatures and everything else like that, put in a plastic bottle, so yay for that, good too, and then blended with sugars. And there's 243 different, plus or minus, there's 243 different names for sugar, and most of them aren't sweet. Most of them are refined starches. And so that's what's part of that polluting your environment. And the oils are heavy in omega-6s. 3s would be great. 6s, not so great. Leucine and that type of thing. So that's where these kind of things come out, okay? I would even look at thanks, Steve. That's a great chat, buddy. All right. So how do we get here? Well, we're talking about insulin resistance. Now, the one thing about insulin resistance, and I'm going to jump on two different resistances, guys. There's insulin resistance. What we're talking about, and mostly when we say insulin resistance, people hear the word insulin, they run for the hills. Well, I'm not diabetic. And I'm going to tell most of you it's comma yet. It's comma yet. So right now, I'm going to give you some free advice on how you can know where you're trending. And most people don't know this because, one, triglycerides aren't treated. Triglycerides aren't treated because there's not a medication for it. Cholesterol is the evil, so they all pound on cholesterol. But triglycerides is the evil sorcerer here. So if you want to find out where you are, and then you can track this, I want you to write this down. You take your triglycerides and you divide it by your HDL. Divide your triglycerides by your HDL. And you want that number to definitely be 1.5 or lower. And now that you know the first point, now you're going to start tracking this and seeing that you're going to start trending and seeing this. If it's going up, you're headed towards type 2. If it's going down, great. You really want it under 1. But if it's 2 or higher, triglycerides divided by your HDL, if it's over 2, ladies and gentlemen, you are headed to type 2 diabetes, period, end of story, unless you do something. Unless you actually do something, change your lifestyle and your diet, so you're going to be a type 2. And then you're going to come back to me and say, hey, George, what can I do? And I'm going to say, well, we should have worked on it before, but we can do on it now. Or you're going to go and you're going to start taking pills and shots to mask the symptom, but you're never going to fix the issue. Never going to fix the core problem. So insulin resistance is cell resisting insulin, which is a key. And so it comes to the cells, every cell, and tries to open the door to put the glucose in. Glucose is your energy source from the food that you ate. Okay? And how do you get insulin resistance? As you eat so much so often. You never let the poor insulin guys get a chance to get their work done until you finally stop eating at night. And it takes about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours. Philip finally gets to go like, okay, we can go home, guys, because you're not throwing any more crap down your throat. Sorry, you're not putting more food down. So think about that. Most people in America, in the modern food day environment, the first thing you do when you get up, well, one of the first things you do is you go to the fridge or wherever and you grab something and start munching. Or you come out of the shower and you start noshing on something, right? You're eating for the first time. You're breaking your fast because when you were sleeping, you were fasting, right? You were fasting. When you start eating, then you break that fast. That's what breakfast means. It doesn't mean have a bowl of cereals like the Reverend and Dr. Kellogg created that marketing slogan. Did you know that that's where that came from? They wanted to start selling more products than Mr. Kellogg. I don't know if he was a Presbyterian or Episcopal minister and also a physician, said, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, started that slogan, and look what it did. So you tell me that marketing and advertising, that hasn't influenced your life. And what they did on top of that is they said, hey, bananas are good. So the fruit companies said, hey, how about bananas with that'd be good to have too. So they actually used to put coupons in cereal boxes for bananas to sell more bananas. And then Dole said, hey, wait, we want to get in the act. We want to get in the act. And so they said, hey, let's have a well-rounded breakfast would also include some orange juice. So they threw that in. Now think about that. You're having cornflakes, which is what? And sugar, and bananas, and orange juice. What is that going to do to your blood glucose? Be a nice, slow increase? You're fasting? No, it's going to go like this. It's going to go like an atlas. It's going to go like straight up. And when it does that, what's the next thing that happens? It crashes. But when it goes up that high, what does it force insulin to do? Insulin's got to go up higher because insulin's supposed to be pushing it into the cells. Insulin, that's its job. Now, most of it, 8% of that's going to go into your muscle cells. And that's why we don't want you to lose muscle. We'll talk about that in a minute. We don't want you to lose muscle mass, lean muscle mass, because 80% of it's going to go there. But because you're eating 5-6 times a day, because they say, you need to eat 5-6 times a day to keep your metabolism high. What a stupid thing. Anyway, so keep it high. Well, gosh, it's like you're going to starve. No, the problem is that you're going to keep insulin up all the time. It never gets to go to sleep until finally you do, and it still takes another 4 to 6 hours for it to get to rest. Okay? So it's going to be up here bouncing around. Now, eventually, there's the muscle cells, we ain't got nothing to do, especially you people that sit all day and play games or sit and work at a computer or don't drive around or don't do not much physical activity. That's why just a 15-minute walk after you eat would help a lot. But anyway, I digress. So what happens is that it stays high all the time. Eventually, the muscles say, we got no more room. Nope, not interested. So then the next place they're going to go is to the liver. And the liver goes along for a while and it goes, now we got our own. We've already stored a bunch. And it's in a state of glycogen so that we can make ketones, which is better burning than the glucose. So then the last place it goes is to the brain. The brain says, no, we're full. We're full too. So then what happens is it starts going around to the organs and your fat cells. And then everybody else is full. Then you get to start peeing all the time, every 2 hours at night and everything else. You start developing skin tags. You start developing black patches on your skin, on your armpits. You get a hump on your back of your neck. You get brain fog. Your vision goes wonky. Your hair starts to fall out. You may have sarcopenia, which is losing muscle mass. you may develop high blood pressure. You may have high cholesterol. You may get the C. You may get gestational diabetes. You may have coronary heart disease. You have hypertension. You may have atherosclerosis. You may have some inflammations. You could have PCOS. You could have fatty liver. We're finding non-fat alcoholic fatty liver in children as young as 10. We're finding type 2 diabetes now in kids as young as 2. Alzheimer's disease, neuropathy, PCOS. Guys, 20% of women in America are suffering from PCOS. And guys, we're getting younger and younger are suffering from ED. All this is part of insulin resistance, blindness, kidney failure, retinopathy, neuropathy. They're all just signs and symptoms of this malady. Then that's all related to food. So symptoms, there's acne. I had acne. My back was incredibly bad. Skin tags, belly fat, triglycerides out of control. We had high blood pressure. We had, if you eat and if after you eat, you may be tired, fatigue after that, gout, brain fog, migraines. They've known for 40 years that migraines are part of insulin resistance. You have cravings for sweets, hair loss. Those are all issues. Those are all things. Sleep fatigue, going to the bathroom all the time, neuropathy. These types of things are all symptoms of insulin resistance. And John, what are some of the signs and things that you've had of insulin resistance? What are some things you've experienced?
I've had neuropathy, obesity, ED. Let me see. There's a whole bunch actually.
Okay.
No migraines. Pre-diabetic.
Brain fog, memory loss.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah, I can't.
What about your knees and joints and movements?
Yeah, those hurt. I really didn't like moving. So I didn't really move that much, and it kind of shows. So yeah, I'm the poster boy of insulin resistance.
Okay. For some of them,
unfortunately.
I have a lot too. There you go. Absolutely, John. I'm not going to let you hold it all because I was probably a king. And the reason I'm telling you is when we got to the numbers, my numbers were such that let's see if we can find them. Let's see if they're over here. Yeah, my number in 2019 was 600 plus for fasting blood glucose with a 14.6 A1C. That's way out of control. But I even beat that record in October 24 at 834 with 18.1. That's life-threatening. Emergency medical attention is needed. They were trying to call me. The laboratory was trying to call and get a hold of me panically, and the clinic as well with those numbers.
Numerous nurses.
Yeah, and I didn't. I called them back the next morning, and I go, "Hey, what's up?" And they go, "Well, we've been trying to get a hold of you all yesterday afternoon." And I go, "Well, yeah, I saw that. Well, why didn't you answer?" I said, "Because I'm golfing. I don't answer my phone." But yeah, and so the thing is, I knew that with this number, which is embarrassing. I mean, I should have been dead. Literally, I should have been dead. I had more signs than I can even think of. I should have been in a coma with these numbers. I should have been dead. They should have put me in the hospital and started pumping with insulin and all kinds of drugs to try to get control of that. I walked out of the clinic and I said, food got me into this shit. Food will get me out. Because I've already been here when I was there. When I had this system right here in 2019, 5 years earlier, I found a program that said that they could reverse type 2 diabetes. and I had to take like 10 or 11 exams. I had to be interviewed and everything else to get accepted into the program that I got to pay for. And it was a great program. They do great research, but it's totally unsustainable. John, if you know me well enough, that could you imagine me weighing my food on a little scale? I had 2 scales, so I could weigh it in grams. I couldn't even do it in ounces. I had to do grams and measure it out. And you know, I lasted a year and a half. Now, did get my numbers down, but it was totally unsustainable. And so I had my cool card punch, and I go back out to the real world. And then eventually I got myself into this mess. And then I found the protocol we're going to talk about. So, guys, if you want to know what it's like to be at the extreme, which I never want anybody to get to, this one, I'm trying to help you be able to if you want to be well, I want you well, and I want to help you get there and never go across these borderlines. I never want you to go across these borderlines, okay? Those are beyond extreme. And so signs of insulin resistance, we've talked about diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, heart disease.
Sleep apnea.
Yeah, sleep apnea. There you go. Depression, neuropathy, skin tags, skin discoloration.
Depression.
Yeah, all kinds of things. Now, neither one of us have had abnormal menstrual cycles, so we're happy for that. But liver disease and Hashimoto's, we haven't had anything like that. But those things are all symptoms. But what our real thing is, guys, is we got to get to the root cause. We need to get rid of it. Otherwise, it just spreads. So that's my little dandelion pictures for the day. So we need to get to the root cause. So if you always feel hungry, if you find it difficult to lose weight, if cravings for salt and sugar, headaches, migraines, aches and pains, these things are things that happen to you. Hard belly, a big belly, hard belly. They used to call me Mr. Belly, so big. So yeah, I get all that. I literally get all that. What we do is, without any dieting, what we suggest people do, and you can do this for free, but we're going to talk a little bit about protocol. My free advice, one of the free advices I'm going to give you is F off. And that stands for fast, order of food, fiber, fat, and protein. So if in the morning, when you wake up, remember you went to sleep and now you're fat burning. In the morning when you wake up, the longer you can go before you put something down your gullet. If you could just drink a tea, that'll help get you not eating until maybe noon, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That's going to help you burn fat. That's going to help you burn fat. So fasting from when you go to sleep to a little bit longer in the day, because you're not starving, guys. When you wake up, you ain't starving. Give me a break. You are not going to starve. The Americans have more food in their pantries and cupboards and refrigerators than it'll take a week to eat. So, and most of you aren't 5 minutes away from another place to buy more food. So you got plenty of food. So that mentality that happens is because your brain is talking, and what you don't need is more food. So the longer you can go, if you want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, is we're going to use a tea. This is what we do. But we're going to wait until our first meal, maybe somewhere around noontime, 11, 1, 2, 3, somewhere there, we're going to have a meal. That's great. And when we do, we're going to have the order of food, which is fiber, right? Fiber, fat, protein, then forget the carb. But if you're going to have carbs are last on the list. They're not the predominant thing, because most of you eat what? Carbs first. You go to a Mexican restaurant, chips. You go to an Italian restaurant, bread. You go to a steakhouse, bread. You're eating all these carbs before you even get into the food. If you go through a fast food restaurant, you're munching on the fries before you're out the driveway. Some of you have the fries and tater tots and potato olays gone before you're out in the parking lot. Then you get into the sandwich, because that's what you have is a sandwich, which is what? Bread with some other stuff, but mostly bread. You may have a salad, but that salad you had with chips, you had that salad with bread, with buttered rolls or whatever, and you have a dressing that's what? Has seed oils and sugars and high fructose corn syrup and all of that. Oh, but I'm having ribs. I'm having ribs. Oh, good. Look, oh, that barbecue sauce, is 75% sugar. High fructose corn syrup, sugar, other kinds of cane sugar, molasses. It's all sugar. And then oils, all kinds of oil. The trilogy of oil, corn seed oil, olive oil, and vegetable oil, whatever, canola oil, the trilogy of oils, just crazy. Why? To make them addictive to you. So this is what we would recommend. You're going to fast a while. With your meal, you're going to have fiber, and then another tea, and you're going to go to sleep after your last meal. So that's really the simplest protocol. And the protocol that we use, you can find in the physician's desk reference. So the physician desk reference, guys, is the book that my dad used to have on his desk, the PDR. And the PDR has pictures of all the pills and drugs that are available in pretty much. Now it's online, so it's pdr.net. I think it's called Prescribers Digital Reference .net. But you can look up your prescriptions there. And I would suggest that everyone goes to the pdr.net and looks up every drug that they're taking now. Just go look them up. And you'll see that for most of them, especially the diabetic and the high blood pressure and the cardiovascular and the PCOS and almost all, you look at what the PDR says about them, most all of them have what's called a box warning. A box warning. I refer to it as a black box warning. Once you read it, you'll understand, because if you look at it, it will put you in the black box, possibly. If you look up metformin, there's 3 pages of just metformins. I mean, come on. You're treating one thing? How many? Yeah, okay, fine. So if nothing else, you learn that it's all about profit, okay? So what the protocol that John has started, that I am on, is also in the PDR.net, and you'll see that it has zero side effects, and zero interactions with any other drug. There's no contractions with the listed in the PDR. We have 18 or 22 nutraceutical products listed in the PDR. We have more nutraceutical products than any company in the world in the PDR. We're also listed in Health Canada, and we're accepted in over 60 countries worldwide. So we're constantly under scrutiny. And every batch that our company produces, and we do all our own manufacturing. We do our own sourcing. Everything that has our company's label on it, we processed, we made, we created, we sourced. And every batch goes through NSF certification, which is an independent body that looks for mold, mildew, toxicity, and those kinds of things, toxins. And every batch gets certified through NSF. So a third party on top of it. We're FSA accepted and HSA accepted. You don't just get to do that. You just don't get to do that. Well, I think we want to be that way. No, you have the scrutiny because we're in the PDR. Now, our research, some of our research, the Cleveland Clinic did research on us, right? They took our product, our medical grade fiber, and said that such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need or dose of lipid-lowering drugs. Think about that. Who does not want you to know? This research has been out there for a decade, 2 decades. It's in the PDR, the book that your doctors use to prescribe things. Why do they give you petrochemical made drugs and not the nutraceutical? Could it possibly be money? Could it possibly be that the
Possibly.
pharmaceutical companies control the doctors? Could it possibly be that if doctors would go to the nutraceuticals, that they could be punished, they could be kicked out of their clinic, kicked out of their hospitals? Yes. Do we have doctors, including endocrinologists and oncologists and everyologists out there, coming to us, and many leaving their practices to be able to do this freely because they know and they've proven that they can help more people get better health than just being on the prescribed wagon? Yeah, that's true. What about this? What about we look at blood sugar? Oh, let's do this. Let's tell you what. Let's take John, and this is fun because John and I just traveled for a weekend. We went to Miami. We drove from Central America, Central Illinois and Iowa, to Miami straight through. And on the way back, every time on the way down, John was just like, a little Waffle House. I think it'd be great to go to Waffle House. Well, finally on the way back, I stopped at a Waffle House. I just, John was like, he was like the little kid going, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Oh, I did not.
we would drive by,
but I thanked him.
He would go by a Waffle House and go like, "Hey, there's a
Waffle House.
Hey, I haven't eaten one of those." Anyway,
since first grade.
Yeah. So what we did is that we stopped. Now, I did not do this menu, but he tried. In a study, in laboratory study, we fed people 2 Eggo waffles, 2 tablespoons of syrup, and 10 ounces of orange juice. And you can see how that spike is. You can see how big that spike is. Absolutely huge, right? And what happened is we said, okay, great. Let's see what happens if people then go on our product. Let's see what the difference is between those 2 things. And as you can see, we lowered that response by 43%. That's huge. Metformin on its best day could maybe do 30, but it's more than the average of 25. And this is a nutraceutical pounding it out by 43%.
All natural.
And all natural. And then, remember I said we were going to drink some tea? That tea to try to satisfy us till our first meal. So we're not grabbing that bagel and breakfast sandwich and Jimmy Dean's sausage per girl bagel thing or whatever. And so we can go through the morning without it. This tea, which has it patented as well, raises your natural GLP-1 by 60%. Naturally. Not a shot, not an agonist. Not a shot, you're going to get a GLP resistance 1 and 2. But this naturally, just sipping on this tea is going to do the deal and raise it by 60% without any of those side effects. Any of the side effects that they're starting to find with those shots and those pills. And they're hot selling. They sure are. And if people are on them, that's great. If they're on the shot, if you're on it, you can take this, and we see people get off the shot because then they don't have any worries, and they continue to lose weight. In fact, they lose more weight comfortably, and they don't lose the muscle mass because about 40% of every pound that you lose is bone and muscle. And the last thing you want to learn, we talked about where does the blood sugar go? Where's the number one place it's going to go is to your muscles. Now, if you're decreasing those muscles, how are you ever going to grow that muscle back? Answer me that, Robin. If you lost 30 pounds, 40% would be 12 pounds. 12 pounds of muscle. Tell me how you're going to grow that muscle tissue back. You ain't. And when you get off of that drug, those drugs or whatever, if you haven't changed your lifestyle, now you have less muscle to use to store, right? And you're going to continue eating how you did to get to where you were before. You're going to be what? Bigger, larger, more voluminous than you ever were before. So the ramifications are not good. Temporary, it's a huge yo-yo with massive negative effects. So we need to change your lifestyle too to make this all work. So this is when I talk about, you can see right here, this is fiber and protein. See how that's nice and slow. It's not a big spike. And here's that muffin. Here's that waffle. Here's that orange juice way up there. And now you're making insulin go up this high, okay? And it works hard to get down here. Now we're about here, and it's starting, okay, cool. And then guess what? You eat again. You throw something else down your gullet. And when you put something in, guess what? Insulin's got to go back over here again. It just got done sweeping the floor. Why do you come in and throw more crap down there? You don't need to. You still have plenty of food. You haven't finished this. Does that make it? That's pretty clear, isn't it? So what our protocol does and what it is, it has 5 patents, and we have a medical grade fiber. We have clinical studies at BYU, Cleveland Clinic, University of Sydney, Brigham Young, Columbia, UNLV, Stanford, and more. And they're ongoing. And we have a lot of studies even going now on anabolic steroids because muscles, as we get older, generally start to break down. Okay, and catabolic things happen. Menopausal women, estrogen is not protected. And so the muscles, we're losing your lean muscle. We have the ability to stop that because insulin resistance needs a place and anabolic resistance needs insulin. The muscles need insulin and insulin needs a place. So it's a symbiotic plan that we have that can take care of that. We'll talk about that another time. But it's safe, natural, it's guaranteed 90 days. I remember, John, when I looked at this protocol, I go like 90 days. Okay, fine. 90-day money back guarantee, fine. John, I had day 88 marked on my calendar. I don't know how many times you've bought something that a 30-day money back guarantee and you miss it, and all of a sudden the price goes up, whatever. This had 90 days. Great. I'm going to try this for 90 days. And because I know the 90 days is how long it takes to register a change, truly register a change in your A1C. So it's in 90 days is because of that. So we can prove, like I'm going to say here, we can guarantee it works. If you follow the protocol, we can guarantee it on your own blood results. And that's why it's the 90-day money back guarantee, because we know that it'll be provable. Cost neutral, we just talked about it, and people spend $6 to $10, and that's way more than the protocol costs. And
just for breakfast.
Yeah. Now we're in over 60 countries. So you got pharmaceuticals, which is most of you guys have. You have statins, you got Lipitor, Crestor, Metformin, Ozempic, or you could use some nutraceuticals also without any side effects. Pretty simple. Choice is yours. And what I love, John, is that people, when you start talking about a natural product and a natural thing, and you show those lab results, 24 clinical studies, you can show it's in the PDR, you can show it's in Health Canada. Now all of a sudden they want to be researchers. But a doctor hands them a piece of paper or emails or faxes a script to the pharmacy. Oh, okay. And you go and you get it from the pharmacy. That's a pharmacy located in the store. And they go, you have any questions? No, that's okay. Because you don't want to sit there and have them go through an hour worth of all the things. Like, oh, that's okay. I'll just take it.
Yeah.
There is a difference. And there's a psychological difference because you've been planned and you have been programmed into the pharmaceuticals. I mean, there's the one for psoriasis. I mean, the things that it does, that one ad, it tells you it's going to rot out your lower tract. The things that medication can do, all the things it could do, it's like, and people go, ask my doctor. I'm going to ask my doctor. Why? Why would you want to rot out your exit point? What makes that a good idea for anybody? For a skin condition that's treatable at the root cause. Why would you want to have that potential? Well, but I'll ask my doctor. He'll prescribe it. Okay. Does it have a 90-day warranty? No. And whose fault is it if you take it? Well, it's yours. We gave you all the warnings. It's your fault. You bought it. Excuse me. Never mind. I'm gonna get going on that. So here's part of our history. In 2001, that's when Unicity was formed, and we had the test done with what was called BIOS Life, was done in 2001. So we've got that. We have all the tests. Indomate, our tea, a special tea, that raises GLP-1 naturally. So there's all the things. And our medical grade fiber. This is not your dad's Metamucil or Benefiber or that kind of malarkey. Those things are not listed in the PDR for a reason. Those things are not Health Canada approved for a reason. They don't have patented process things that are provable, like we have proven with 24 clinical studies. So that's kind of the protocol. That's what we do. Guys, this is part of why we do what we do. And I don't want anybody to have to live through this. I don't want you to have to be fat, sick, and nearly dead like I was. You know, John over here, John, you should see John now. He's lost 80 pounds or more now. But John was a type 2 diabetic for 25 years. But he followed everything the doctor said. He was a good patient. He did everything he did. And he even developed a foot ulcer. It cost him $150,000. And he about lost his foot. He found the protocol and reversed that. Everything else. He's a huge guy, too, isn't he, John? He's just one big boy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he really is. But a great guy. Really a great guy. So that's him. That's him there. That's him there. This is his wife, Catherine. She goes by Catherine. Don't call her Cat. It's Catherine or Kathy. Here's Andrea, great girl. And one thing she'll say, look, I didn't have a neck. She just looked at his pictures and go like, I didn't have a neck. Now she's got a neck. She's down 30 or 40 pounds. She's doing great. It's just awesome. Dr. Kenny, this is 35 days apart. Dr. Kenny last year in April and May was in the hospital. He about died 2 times. And this is him 35 days apart after finding, look at this inflammation. Look at this inflammation. Look at this, look at that transformation right there. Here's his wife, Honesty. And she's cute in a button. She's about 4 foot tall. She's itty bitty. But she had PCOS. Look how these people. And here's Jim, great Jim. He was a train wreck. Insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, had all of these things, and they're all gone. All of them are gone. All of them are gone. And he doesn't have a thyroid. Think about that. Lauren, survivor. Sheridan, awesome girl, had IBS and had anxiety and major depression since she was 14. Look how happy she is. She's off of all those. This is a doctor of pharmacy. $90 days. John, 90 days, buddy. Stay on it. Write your food down every day. Write your food down, what you eat, what you drink every day. I sent you a calendar every day. 90 days. I want this, buddy. I want this for you.
Okay.
Okay. And we start looking. There's Deanna, and I don't know if I have her after picture. I don't have her after. I have to get that up to date. But I've got an after picture, and she looks like a different person too. She's a cancer survivor. This is the same lady, grandma. Look at that, a month apart. Lupus. Yeah, lupus, never going to cure lupus. Okay, fine. She's off meds for lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, and lost 40 pounds. Feeling great. Sue. I love Sue. There we go. And Dr. That's Anne Marie. This is a PCOS baby. Why do I call that? Because the mother had tried to get pregnant for about 10 years or so. She was on the protocol for 4 months. And now we have baby Sam. Wouldn't have happened because they were trying for a decade. This guy had his first leg amputated. Nobody told him he needed to stop drinking soda and juice. Second, no one told me to stop eating sugar and juice. Now he's lost both legs. He's on the machine, right? Kid dialysis machines. He's got a 4-year-old. He's hoping now he's on the protocol. He's hoping they'll get to see his son at B5. Here's Dr. Jim, 6 weeks, 25 pounds. He's not quite a retired chiropractor. Vicky, a type 1 diabetic. Look at this. Type 1 diabetic. Insulin is a growth hormone. Look at this. And she's on insulin pump. And her amount of insulin is down about close to 75%. And the weight loss. Not supposed to do that as a type 1. Yeah, there we go. Right across the board. Kareem, I've got her next picture. Cheryl, there you are, buddy. We're going to go small in that shirt. We're going to be small. How much were you, like, a little bit lighter than you are now in that picture? You were, right? About the same?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like swimming, sort of like teaching swimming and coaching swimming. So yeah, I was a little bit lighter.
Okay. We're going to go smaller than that. We're going backwards, buddy. We're going to go back.
Yeah, I got to go back a ways.
Yeah, here's Arlie. Look at that. This is her, and this is the same dress. 15 years different. 15 years. She's back in her wedding dress. Think about that. 15 years, 2 children on the protocol. She's in her dress that she wore 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, we're going to wrap this up. It's 10. Thanks for coming on. John, I appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. We've got the 9 o'clock call. I'll see you on at 9. No, it's Wednesday,
yep.
So you bet the pull.
I'll be busy.
Okay, you'll be at the pull. So, buddy, it's good seeing you. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And you guys, if you know John, get a hold of him because you can get the protocol through him, or you can get a hold of me. And we'll be back tomorrow on this channel, on this network, and several others. So just kind of look for us. Have a great day. Bye now.
Bye-bye.